hakuna pesa. These two words literally raised generations before Gen Alpha. They decided whether utapata pencil mpya after chewing yours with a sharpener for the whole month, ama on Monday utakuwa at the mercy of your bestie ukimomba akusaidie na extra yake mpaka break time. What happens after break time? I don't know. Maybe the gods will perform a miracle. We hardly had our basic needs met. Survival was the goal. Yani, bare minimum mazi. Money was not just notes and coins. It was culture. It was survival. And kidogo, trauma wrapped beautifully in discipline. The way the church, wazazi, community, na shule handled it, it did not just teach us how to count it. It scripted how we hustle, our spending habits, how we plan the money, and sometimes pia the way we hide that 50 bob in our socks na in the mattresses as an adult. Let's take the home, for example. Money was vandermort, the thing that should never be named. Parents whispered about it, and when they talked about it, it was when there was none. Whether you wanted that much needed pencil or a packet of chips just because you were a child, it didn't matter. Hakuna pesa was the default answer to everything. And so we grew up with zero real money conversations. No wonder 62% of Kenyans are financially illiterate because silence bleeds confusion. Ni juzi tu nimesikia mtoto wa nursery anapewa kitu inaitwa allowance. Eti yako na needs. Needs gani? Si kama wewe mzazi you've already factored in their snacks and put a roof over their head. Anyway, let me not go down the ranting lane because of the audacity of this upcoming generation. Back in my day, pocket money was not any better. Some of us had the occasional coin ya kununua Big G ama andazi, and some of them had that statement yenye tulikuwa tuna convert sisi wote eti whenever you need something just ask. Allowances, the structured one, you only heard about them on TV. That is kama mulikuwa lucky kukuwa na hiyo TV. And so most of us grew up and we stumbled into adulthood with just budgeting as a construct of the mind. So if you had to stretch your 5 bob between a ball gum, mandazi, ama ile kitu tulikuwa tunaita juicy cola, then no wonder you blow through your salary like it's hot ugali. Fast, carelessly, and leaving behind buns. Some of us, we struggle with instant gratification because we feel the coins that we have may disappear any minute. Life is for the living. Ama ni aje, that's what we tell ourselves every time. And so that brings us to the current parent. You must give that 200 shillings to that child so that they can manage their snacks. Whether mume agree 200 itakava snack ya siku moja ama wiki moja ama mwezi moja, make sure that they handle that 200 shillings to cover that. Na usikwe ule mzazi, the good parent that mtoto ameblow what was meant for 2 days in one day and then you come in and chip in. Remember, charity begins at home, and it is very good that we start it right now. Then there was the village. Yes, the village. Arambes were the original GoFundMes. Whether it was school fees, weddings, or funerals, the community always showed up. I have a niece that she's like 4 or 5 years younger than me. Yeah, I come from those families when your niece is carried you on your back and now you have no authority kabisa to tell them anything. Anyway, the mother decided to hold a bash first birthday, and of course the community showed up. Wengine wakaleta chicken, potatoes, name it as gifts. Hata wengine wali contribute mula to the birthday bash. And that generosity unfortunately brings up strings that we cannot run away from. In our African setup, if your people raised you, then your adulthood salary automatically becomes community salary. It belongs to your parents, to your siblings, to your uncles, to your aunties, and even your cousins. Na hata ule the village drunk mwenye one day alikushika mkono akakukrosisha barabara ukiwa nursery ana demand their own share. That's how black tax was introduced early into our lives. And even today, 27% of the households in Kenya, the low and middle income earners, still they support their relatives. And so savings becomes something that is a luxury. Ama you kind of feel guilty saving when you have people that need your help. And kweli for sure, how will you be able to save when you're carrying the whole village on your back? We were trained wrongly, or poorly, whatever you want to say, in work ethics. Selling sukuma in your farm's kiosk, working the shamba and running endless errands. Childhood was hustle school, and our sweat was never compensated. We never learned how to value the production that we did. And so most of us will never negotiate for salaries despite our livelihoods depending on it. We look up to the employers as if they were gods, in the same eyes that we looked up to our parents. So employer akisema, I am worth 30,000 with no overtime compensation, despite me working 8 to 8, then it is okay. They know better. I have been in the same job position for the last 5 years. I have developed very excellent work ethics and performance, yet I cannot garner the courage to go and approach my manager or my supervisor and ask for a salary increment. It is also the same reason why we believe as adults that we must suffer so that we may earn. We glorify grind culture, and when we don't, the society looks at us as if we are not serious. Working smart means that you have to create value and then demand smartly again for proper compensation for that value that you've created. By the way, don't get me wrong, there is standard contribution for a child in a household, but hii yetu ilikuwa child labor low-key. Yani kids, they were the de facto source of labor force, especially in shags. I kind of feel like parents, they were getting more children so that in part they can be the free army of workers, And I still see this even today when I walk or when I'm in a matatu in Nairobi and you see 7-year-old or 8-year-old girls hawking sweets. I mean, that is crazy. Can you imagine all the dangers these children have been exposed to? Well, I kind of feel this is actually child exploitation right on our faces. It does not matter whether it's during the day or at night, boy or girl, is just plain wrong. School reinforced the hierarchy of money. Some of us had pocket money for chocolates and crepes, others just enough for kangumu, present day KDF, I believe. Some of us had a very smooth school term, and some of us being sent home for fees was just the order of the day. Some of us had a very well balanced lunch plate with a juice box to kuteremsha chakula, and some of us, we just survived through boiled githeri or that bowl of ugali and sukuma wiki. Kind of all the time I wonder how those two managed to dance and become one in that plastic dish. It always baffles me today. And then also come to think of it, yule jamaa alifikiria sukuma, that green vegetable, itwe sukuma wiki. See, alikuwa very observant and creative. Anyway, and so we learned early on that money is not only for survival, but it also determined where we sat on the pecking order. Fast forward as adults, the game is still the same. We measure self-value by the cars we drive, the clothes we wear, the houses and the estates that we live in, and the schools our kids go to. Keeping up with the Jonases or the Molos started early on in school and followed us on Instagram. We cannot end this convo without the old all-knowing, life-giving, prosperity assuring, and connected to our Father in heaven, the church. This is where we were taught that giving is better than taking. It is funny that the most drummed verse of the Bible that I remember in Sunday school was, the love of money is the root of all evil. Yet, they constantly reminded us that offerings and tithes were the seeds that we needed to sow so that blessings can come on our way. And what did that do to us? It taught us that we should always give and never say no, that we should never want more, especially when it came to time and money, and that we should be the last in line to receive any attention from our money, because we are supposed to be humble Christians who are waiting to have riches that are stored for us in heaven. That is our childhood, the African children, a mashup of scarcity, hustle, generosity, and silent rules. It was a financial curriculum that was uncertified on paper, but stamped by the community. It sowed seeds that grew into beliefs that we still live by and continue crippling our financial well-being. This is Shillings and Cents, where we break it down so that you can build it up.